Hello and welcome to Banking Frontiers Live. With me in conversations is one of the very interesting IT leader from the leading bank in India, Bank of India. Uh, he is Mr. Rajesh Kumar Ram, who is the Chief Information Officer and the General Manager IT of Bank of India. Mr. Rajesh Ram, welcome to Banking Frontiers Live. Rajeshji, we have been seeing a lot of transformation in the financial services sector and a lot of digital transformation happening here. In this context, how are banks like yours ultimately working on creating a strong foundation for building in this digital transformation? On the one side, all your PSU banks, many of them have gone in for amalgamation. You have been one of the banks, very few banks which have just chosen to be on its own. But how are you building up a strong infrastructure which is future proof, and how are you trying to make sure that this can give you scalable digital transformation?
I think that's a very relevant question. Even we have been asked this, and this is coming in the newspapers very often that banks in the country should go for a very stable, I think, enhanced digital infrastructure. The total IT infrastructure in the country, especially in the banking sector, has to undergo a drastic change to meet the current demand, which has grown drastically post COVID. And obviously, it started with demonetization. Uh, Way back in 2017, when we had gone for the demonetization, I think it was in 2016 17. So after demonetization, I think there was a big demand for digital transactions. And we started migrating to that platform, not only our existing customers, but although the new customers, we were preferring them, they onboard us on the digital platform. Presently, after the pandemic, what has happened is that the demand for contactless banking has suddenly increased. In fact, our digital transactions have increased more than 100% increase in many of the areas, especially UPI that has undergone a big change. And today we are processing a large amount of data through UPI.
So, what are those key areas where infrastructural growth is happening? Is it from the SD-WAN side, or is it from the network side, or is it from the storage side, or is it from the cloud side? Which are the areas where you see these kind of things happening?
See, I think most of the banks were having on-prem infrastructure, but with time, what we have realized is that we should have our own cloud. Reason is that the public cloud, somewhere the financial sector was not finding it comfortable to move to public cloud. So I think most of the banks, including ours, we have come up with our own private cloud. Bank of India has got a private with the name Make Tara. So that's a voluminous one with more than 100 odd applications running on it. I think time has come that even the public cloud or community cloud should be adopted by all the banks. And I think most of them, including ours, we are looking around to have some community cloud where we can host our applications, as running on-prem data center is a very specialized job, and it is better left to professionals than running it our own self. Although we have been doing it and we have the expertise as on date, but going forward, the increase in volumes, the amount of transactions we are going to process with good, big data and good data coming in place, the amount of storage and the amount of processing which we need is enormous. To keep that type of infrastructure on-prem will always be a challenge in terms of cost, in terms of maintenance, in terms of security. So from all angles, that will be a heavy burden on I think on us, on all the people in this sector. It's better left that we move to public cloud where it is maintained at a reasonable cost. And I think going forward, our concerns are getting addressed by big techs, and surely they will come up with some solution where our security concerns are addressed, and obviously we process our data on public cloud in coming days.
How has the challenge been for you, Rajesh ji, as a Bank of India, and how have you worked around these challenges, especially in the security area? Because ultimately, these transactions are really compliance driven and they have to be 100% secure.
And the pandemic gave us a opportunity to work from anywhere, work from home. These thoughts were there in our minds since long. But what actually happened in good old days is that it never took flight. But this was the time, I think it came by force, and suddenly we found ourselves locked in our houses. So that is the time we decided we immediately have to bring in some solution. So we already had some solution in place. We were using some applications, some VPN solutions. So with that, immediately we started our operations in the month of May, June 2020. Thereafter, immediately we came with a work from home, work from anywhere policy in the bank, and we have our own set of SOPs. And I think the system is evolving. Today, large number of my employees, those who are working in administrative office, they are able to access work from home. We also have remote desktop access, which is helping our people who are in the service department of technology. To those who need to maintain the systems, they are also able to log in from their home, logging from anywhere. Initially, for security reasons, we had asked most of our people to log in from the nearest branch so that at least the network security is taken care. However, over a period of time, when our secured VPN solutions were put in place, that need to come to a nearby branch also was extinguished. And then now most of the people are able to access. However, branch working, that means which is customer facing, we are yet to move ahead in that area. But all administrative offices, head office or training centers, in fact, we had a wonderful experience for training regarding work from home. I think with administrative offices, we are quite successful because, as you know, today, when you have access to your uh, desktop, you have access to your mails, and you have your mobile phone with you. I think 90% communication is established, and with that, I think going forward, all those things which we have learned, what we have evolved, and what has been customized over a period of time, those will take real sense. And in going forward, even post pandemic, we see that a small part of our staff will be working from home.
From your perspective, as a bank preparing towards creating an experience of the future, what is the future that you see in digital transformation? What is the thing that is there in wish list where you want to go about?
As you see, in the coming days, we are also eyeing the digital transformation of the bank.
Mhm.
Uh, what we see that the initial companies which adopted digital transformation, they are doing good. And now those institutions, they are moving into the rural areas. Now, Bank of India has got more than 60%, 70% branches in rural areas. The rate of adoption of digital uh, banking in these areas are now going in leaps and bounds. Because of that, I think this is one area we want to capture very quickly. Our BC channels have been doing large number of transactions using digital channels, whereas those are all assisted banking. Now we want to reach our customers directly, where with their smartphones and even with feature phones, we have been doing some POC with the sandboxing infrastructure which has been permitted by Reserve Bank. We are doing some sandboxing on using feature phones to make to the digital payments. So we are looking in a big way to go with digital payments. All throughout, we have been dealing with our liability portfolio, but with the asset portfolio, giving loans and giving small loans to people in urban and rural areas, that is our next focus. And we want to make this system very seamless and very simple, where in minimum number of clicks, with the big data which is available with us and also in public domain, we should be able to pre-sanction loans and give it to them. So in big way, not only the liability side, but all the asset side. And also the services sector, insurance, mutual funds, and other financial services. We want to bring those sections of the society who have not availed of the institutional credit. Going forward, why we are looking at cloud is that slowly we will test the waters. A bank like Bank of India has got huge processing requirements, huge requirements of infrastructure. So we will test the waters, and we will do a proper analysis and do a proper distribution of the workload. What should be with the private cloud, what should go into public cloud. There are a lot of applications which we are developing with the fintechs. Those we can very easily put it on the public cloud, and our own infrastructure, that also we are thinking of having co-location data centers where the entire infrastructure will be co-located, our entire hardware and the network devices what we have procured, our security devices or our data warehouse devices, all those can be housed in a co-location data center. And large co-location data centers are coming up in the country. Many new entrants, even our Atmanirbhar country's own uh, data center operators are co-location data center operators are coming up. So I think that is a win-win situation for both of us, where we can use their expertise of running a data center and putting our infrastructure there, so that we own the infrastructure, we can scale up and we can keep the cost at optimum level.
So, Mr. Rajesh, can you please share with me how has the business been in the last few months for the bank? What is the business direction that the bank is looking into?
Yeah, but the bank is very obviously looking into retail banking, and obviously in retail, after retail, our major priority is in the MSME sector. I think these two sectors we have to spread our wings further. Our progress in these two sectors in the last year was better than what is the industry average. So these are two areas where we are looking at, and these are the two areas where we can bring it digitization that will help us in bringing down the cost, reaching a wider population. At the same time, a very quick turnaround time for any request or requirement. So these are the areas we are looking forward in the coming days. Obviously, we are also looking at other ancillary services, like our tie-up with various insurance products or mutual funds. We are also increasing our footprint in gold loans, which is another area where the country prefers to avail of a loan with the help of the family treasures they have. So, and this is a genuine requirement from the grassroots level. So these are major areas, and as I said, retail has always been our priority, and that will remain so in the coming years.
And how has the moratorium or the NPA and the slippages been in the last few months? And how do you see it going ahead? And how are you using technology also to make sure that these slippages are to the minimum?
Yeah, we have a good data warehouse and the analytics team which is sitting here, and they are able to analyze the existing data. In fact, we were very quick to reach our customer for restructuring of the account. Wherever required, we have given them additional funding. So we are helping them and handholding them to come out of the pandemic situation. In the coming days, for any further requirement of finance will be addressed. At the same time, we have given them moratorium in areas where it is permitted by the regulators. And I'm sure the human spirit, which is always one which wins at the end of the game, I think that will prevail over the pandemic in the coming days. With fingers crossed, I'm cautiously optimistic that things will pick up fast in Q2, Q3 of FY 22.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that lovely conversation.